given the disease.
Right, do you know all this piece of shit here? Look at him.
This morning. Thanks very much for being with us.
Damn, we just got in there.
Now, more than 10 million people will tonight enter the highest level of lockdown, as restrictions are tightened across London and parts of Essex and Hertfordshire.
Right.
Most of the hospitality.
What you missed, guys?
Well,
Well, you didn't miss it because I caught it. Now,
crucial Christmas Eve at London's Mayor.
this might. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's get him. It's all CGI, but I'm just going to get.
It must be difficult.
I'll tell you what you were watching a minute ago in a minute. You're not going to believe
On the
it.
one hand, you know, we have seen the.
And I knew this anyway. I was showing people in January that this is all CGI.
At
Right.
the same time,
Okay.
you are seeing
Let's have a
hospitals
look.
in and around Greater London.
You see the dark line around his neck? You see that there? Where's his skin gone?
Virus is
Right.
concerned. One of the things we've learned
Nobody
is
believed me
far
about
better
this
to
a
go
year ago, by the
early
way.
than to go too late. So whatever I may think about the government's tiering system, it's really important. From midnight tonight, we will follow the rules. We're going to be in tier 3. We've got to abide by the rules. That being said,
From midnight tonight, tier 3. I know why.
Of them putting London in tier 3 as far as our economy is concerned. There are many pubs, bars, restaurants and cultural venues that have spent a lot of time.
If anyone believes for
effort,
1
energy
second
and
that
money
that's who you're
making
looking at,
places COVID
you're
secure.
nuts.
And when they close
Look.
tonight, many of them may not reopen, which leads to billions of pounds.
And if anyone says, oh, it's a shadow,
and potentially hundreds of thousands of
my
jobs
monk
being
will
lost.
verify. He
And
knows
my
exactly what I'm
concern is that
talking
the
about.
government appears to be retrofitting an ineffective tiering system around an issue.
A tiering
of the
system?
virus spreading. And I'm not
I'll
sure
give you
that
tiers.
It'll make much difference to the
I'll
virus
show you
spreading.
tiers. Look,
And
he's
that's why I'm
changing
calling on the
colour,
government
see?
to do much more. in
But on the
that
TV,
age
what I
group,
can
we know there's
see
been a big
is not
increase
that
in the
colour,
virus.
by the way.
75%
This is coming
increase
through my
in the
camera.
last we've got numbers.
Right?
Those aged between 10 and 19, many of them.
Yeah. And at the beginning of all this, these, when I was watching this on the TV, the teeth were all going jagged. Right? I was watching it, I thought, I couldn't believe my eyes, guys. I couldn't believe my eyes. Honestly, the teeth were jagged, not just on him, but on every presenter. It must be, honestly, it was freaky. I've got photographs, I did put it up. Look at that face.
It seems somewhat counterintuitive to move 10, 11 million people into the top tier, 7 or 8 days before, they're all heading home for Christmas.
Did you hear this?
I think the government's policy of going from London in tier 2, then tier 3, then tier 0 for 5 days, then tier 3, and potentially in January a national lockdown doesn't make sense.
Hang on a minute. What did he just say? We're going to go into tier 1, then down to tier 2, back up to tier 3, into tier 5, back to tier flipping 0.
For example, at those schools that aren't COVID safe, haven't got the mass testing, maybe closing a few days earlier because those very same children who could have the virus and be asymptomatic will be hugging grandma and grandpa next week and passing the virus on. Another thing we're lobbying the government for is to give financial support to those businesses being required to close.
Oh, I can't watch anymore.
Because unless they give additional support, these businesses will go bust.
Right. I feel sick. I feel sick. Now, what are we doing this morning? They're just rubbing it in people's faces now. They're really ramping it up. He's telling you, well, not me and us guys, but he's telling the sheep all those horrible things. That, your kids won't be able to see grandma, so they're putting it right on you today. And at midnight, we're going into this tier 5 lockdown. And also, Mr. Paul Begley. I feel sick because me and my monk have just worked something out. You're not going to believe this, guys. You're not going to believe it. Right, Mr. Paul Begley. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? Mr. Paul Begley is selling Nobel GOLD. Nobel GOLD. That's right. And there's some of you listening now will probably think, well, yeah, okay then. Here he goes again. The madman. The one who always reckons this planet's outside his window and shining things in his trees. The guy's wacko. Yeah, me. Right. Well, Nobel GOLD is you and the person sat next to you and then the person next to them. Everyone is Nobel GOLD because we all have gold inside us. 0.0.00002 grams. Okay. Now, there was an incident in Wales, UFO incident, where it was over a sewage farm. I'm looking at a magpie just going on the street. It was over a sewage farm because they probably found the gold in the poop, because you do excrete gold in your feces. Couple that with the fact that there's a lot of people might pass away soon. It's a lot of gold. There's also a song. One of the lines in the song is, you got me searching for a heart. No, you got me mining for a heart of gold. Mining. So after an event, you go mining and you find gold. But not only that, the worst part is, and I feel sick telling you guys, there's a colour that's very prevalent in all this story, and it's blue. And it's a particular kind of blue. The kind of blue that was on Obama's horse that won the Kentucky Derby, called Pharaoh, had a blue noseband on it. That blue is also another magpie. One for sorrow, two for joy. Oh my days, hurry up. Yeah, I think that they used to sacrifice children and throw them down a well. But before they did that, they painted them blue. And it was found that there was, I think there was 14 foot of, yes, 14 foot of blue paint sludge found at the bottom of this well. Because this particular blue paint is indestructible. It doesn't lose its colour. It's the ones that they used in Egypt. It's the ones that made Constantinople rich. Was the paint pigments that they used to extract from the ground to paint those Renaissance artwork. Beautiful pictures with that blue. You know that blue? Really, I think it's called alum. The colour is alum, or the paint pigment is alum. And interestingly enough, I live in a place, and there's a place called Alumhurst. Alumhurst. Couldn't make it up. The reason I know all about the Constantinople and the gold and alum and the rest of it is because I found a book in my taxi once in the 80s. I just went from a stage of reading, I don't know, thousands of books. Around about a certain age, in the 80s. Look at that, on top of my tree now. On the 80s. And it was a thick, oh yeah, that was it. I was getting bored of reading Dean Koontz and all the rest of them. I used to read 3 or 4 books at once. Not at the same time, obviously. And I got bored, and then I thought, what am I going to do? We're going to need another book. And then I got in my taxi, and someone had left a massive thick book, about as thick as Begley, like that, on the back seat. I thought, what's this then? And it was about the Renaissance period. I opened it, I flicked through it, I thought, oh my days, this looks heavy. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to read it. Because I always like a challenge, me. That is just me all over. is to think that maybe this book is a sign. That's in my immediate thought. And then I brushed it aside. I thought, well, okay, leave it. Looked at it. And because it was so challenging, because it was ridiculously thick, I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a look at this. And it was the best book I've ever read. Absolutely fascinating. So basically, go over to Paul Begley's. I've left a message on Paul Begley's site anyway. I've said to him, the gold in your heart is worth more than an ounce in your hand.